Welcome back to Moorway South. This video is going to be a review of the Metcalfe card construction kit, which is the Platform Canopy PO340, which I'm adding to my country station. I found previously I've really enjoyed making these kits rather than buying specific buildings and things, so that's why I've bought this. Actually, I didn't buy it, it was a gift, but I do enjoy making them. As with all the Metcalfe kits, really detailed instructions, very simple to follow. This is one of their more modern kits, one of the most recent ones, and as such everything's laser cut. All the different components are all laser cut, which I found really to be precise and well done. But one thing to note is that where the laser goes into the card, it leaves a kind of burn mark, which looks really good for sort of tone and definition in terms of colour. But it does actually leave a tiny bit of soot in the cut, so you can end up getting that on your fingers, and then that can end up adding a bit of unintentional weathering to the building, so be mindful of that and careful about that. What I've noticed with Metcalfe kits in the past is that the walls and other structures are built up from layers, and the purpose of that is to add strength and to give kind of 3D depth and relief to the buildings to make them look more realistic. And I had an idea previously that would be a good way of hiding wiring for lighting. Before I started, I decided I was going to light this canopy internally with a single LED. This is the LED I've chosen. It's a 3mm yellow LED from Rapid Online, and I bent the leads over. Before doing that, I've marked the cathode lead with a bit of black marker pen, so that I can identify it later. Soldered a couple of wires onto it, and what I've done to hide the light itself from being seen directly is I've put a bit of heat shrink sleeving tube over the light. That directs the light downwards and stops the side of the light from glowing outwards. It kind of directs the light directly downwards as a normal light would do. You can see that there. On later ones, what I've done is actually applied some heat at the base to sort of seal the top away from where the leads are. But I actually didn't do that this time round. So to make things easier with this kit, it's supplied with a jig which is made up and then used to build the layers up for the legs of the canopy. And what I chose to do, as you can see here, is to embed the light into the middle one and have the wiring pass through the column legs that will then go through the floor, through the station platform and into the wiring below the baseboards. This is the finished section. The wire is quite thick, perhaps could have done with a bit of thinner wire, but the leads of the LED kind of limit how thin it will go. And as you can see, it's pretty much there. It took a lot of pressure and glue to get it to go together, but it's stuck together well, and you can just make out the wire in places through the side. From there, just being a single light, construction continued as normal, adding the various legs and beams onto the structure, until we end up with something a bit more recognisable. You'll see on this image here, I've actually also with black tape labelled the cathode wire now that the LED leads are completely enclosed and not visible anymore. Section here is showing the card panel, which helps keep the shape of everything while it's drying. We then move on to the gable ends with the usual strengthening pieces of card. I'm simply using PVA glue here, as I always do. So here's the finished front. On the right hand side you can just make out some dark smudging. That's actually the soot from my fingers, where I've picked up the laser soot from the cut edges, as I talked about earlier, but kind of adds a bit of dirt and weathering to it, so I'm not too bothered about that. Next thing was the guttering to add, which looks neat on the edges, and then the roof section put together with the transparent panels cut out and glued on. They're glued on with tiny spots of glue. It doesn't take much to hold them in place, just on the edges, so that it doesn't spread onto the transparent surface of the window itself. And here it is finished with the roof glazing on. Adds a nice bit of contrast, having the grey roof against the cream of the wooden effect panels. Looks really good. The view underneath, that's the light there. What I've done there to sort of give a diffused effect is cut a tiny strip of tracing paper and push that into the heat shrink shroud of the light, because I found the LED was kind of had a bright spot in the middle, whereas with the tracing paper on it gives a nice diffused light. It's a much more uniform spread of light. Making this kit, I took the opportunity to also make up PO340's Metcalfe Station Clocks kit. Again, that's entirely laser cut. They are quite small and fiddly, so it's quite difficult to do, but the overall effect looks really good. I've got the wall mounted clock on the parcels office of the station. You can see that here. I did think about putting a light behind that, but that will probably be too much effort, but I think it could be done and it could look quite effective. As well as that clock in the kit, there comes with two beam mounted clocks, and I put one into this canopy. I'm saving the other one for the station on the other side. Here it is ready to go. I painted the bottom of the legs with black marker pen as it suggests, just to highlight the base of the columns. Wiring, which is now obviously built into those columns, passes through the station platform underneath and then through a hole in the baseboard to the wiring underneath. Here you've got there's wiring which is coiled up, and another one which is I put heat shrink sleeving over just to stop them shorting out, and then the power goes through a 1K resistor into the feed which is coming from the station for the other lights. 1K I found is about right for the brightness level I want. Finished platform canopy on the station. I've moved some of the benches around and the people and boxes and things. I need to get some more to fill out the rest of the station, but I think that overall that adds to the whole effect of the whole thing. Clock you can see there, and just the light is on, just shining down. Looks very neat on the station. Goes really well with the country station kit that I built previously. See a close-up with the light, how the heat shrink sleeving shroud stops the light shining directly sideways and kind of concentrates the beam down. And here in the dark you get a much better view. There's a slight element at the bottom that's coming out sideways, a bit like the platform street lamp actually, which is further along. But the overall glow effect under the platform looks really good, I think. Sort of nicely diffused with the nice shadows coming off the columns. So overall, the kit I'm really impressed with. Looks really nice. Addition to the station. The laser cutting, again, as always, really nice and neat and precise. Gives real added detail. It's a simple kit to put together. Only took about an afternoon to do. No problem at all. I think the addition of the lighting was really simple to do. It's just a single LED and easily to add. It's well hidden, all the wiring inside the columns, and the lovely effect, the glow it has on the platform at night looks really good. I'm really pleased with it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave any questions or comments, and come back soon.